All right, we're going to be starting in 5 minutes, so let's wrap up those conversations, grab a nice drink, maybe a little snack, and start heading for your seats, where we're going to hear wonderful words for the next 2 hours. 5-minute warning. All right, Russell, here, we'll call you up in here in just a minute. We're going to intro you, and you'll run on stage. Do a backflip. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Mr. Russell Brunson.
What's up, everybody? It's the first time for the smoke cannons off in this room. We're all choking and dying, but it's worth it. So first off, hi, everyone in the studio audience here. What's up, all our VIPs in Zoom? Great to see all your beautiful faces here on the back wall. And thank you, everyone who's in Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, wherever else you're watching from around the world. So glad to have you guys all here. I hope you enjoyed yesterday. Yesterday was crazy. We had over 8,000 people watching live. I think close to 100,000 people watched the replays already. And now we're here hanging out for day number 2, and I'm excited. I'm not kidding about that smoke. If I pass out and you're live streaming, someone call the cops and send them here to just kidding. It was also fun last night watching you guys. For a lot of you guys, this was your very first time ever logging to ClickFunnels. And some of you guys had used ClickFunnels 1.0 for a long time. You're logging 2.0 for the first time. And there was confusion and frustration, all the things. And it was so much fun for me to watch the social experiment of what happens when everyone's doing things. And it was really fun because, it's been cool watching as you guys have been creating, you're doing your homework assignment. And again, the first one was simple. Today's gonna be a little bit harder. So if yesterday was hard, that's okay. Like, I want you guys to stretch a little bit. This is not like your first funnel, walk down the beach and look at the sunset, right? This is your first funnel challenge. Okay, this is a challenge. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult at times. But guess what? Nothing good ever came from something that was simple, right? Good marriage doesn't come from being simple. Like all a good life, good business, like everything comes from stretching and from growing. Okay. And so understand that like there's gonna be things that are frustrations that are hard, but you got to work through those things. We're here collectively as a community to help serve you and support you. There's also fun on my side. You guys obviously can't sleep, but I'm in Slack with, our 100+ developers. And then every single time you guys are reporting something, oh, this didn't work. Oh, this didn't work. They're like fixing it. And what's amazing about this is even the software from like last night to this morning to this afternoon till tonight is improving at like insanely quick speeds. Something that was a bug in 1 minute, like will be gone very, very soon. So like you already know, it's a lot of things you guys reported yesterday. We're getting cleaned up as fast as we could. So as you find those things, first off, don't be like frustrated. Oh, there's a bug in the software. Of course it is. This is the first time we've had 15,000 people log in ClickFunnels 2.0 at the exact same time. There's gonna be little things that happen. Don't stress out. Don't freak out. You have a free 30-day trial. It means you have 30 days to test this whole thing out and try. If it doesn't work for you, you can cancel. But if it does work for you, it literally will change your life forever. And you have some guest speakers today you're going to have a chance to hear from who had that experience and had that process. And so I want you guys to know that it's worth it. It's worth putting in the time and the energy. It's worth understanding there's a couple of kinks, a couple of bugs. But man, I saw so many of you guys who were able to execute on the homework assignment. You got logged in, you did the thing, you posted your page. And so you know it works, because I would say I probably saw 200-300 people who posted successful pages in the group. So congratulations for those who pushed through the difficulty and some of the struggles and like the frustration and the annoyance, like not, having everything 100% flawless and perfect. Congratulations, because you still did it. Because guess what? In most things in life, you don't just show up and it's just simple and like a walk in the park. And we're trying to make it as simple as humanly possible. The software will continue to get better at astronomical rates as we're going through this with you guys. But at the same time, like understanding that like you're here, you're building something important, you're building a foundation for a movement that's not only going to change your life, it's going to change the lives of the people that you've been called to serve with your business. And so it's worth putting in the energy and the effort. I promise you that. I had an interesting conversation. Some of you guys know we do a big event every year called Funnel Hacking Live. We had it, I don't know, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's been crazy last couple of weeks, but we had this event and there was 5,000 ClickFunnels members in the audience. And it was for 4 days. In fact, who here was at Funnel Hacking Live? Let me know if you were there. If you're in the comments, like, I love FHL. It's the greatest thing in the world. But it's our big user conference. Like I said, we had 5,000 people there this year. And it was interesting, somewhere in the chaos of the event, I bumped into somebody, like kind of a backstage or back house thing. I bumped into somebody and I recognized him. I'm like, I know you, but I don't know how I know you. And the person kind of smiled and said, you know what? I was actually at a launch event you did before you launched ClickFunnels. I was like, really? So yeah, it was the Ignite event you did in Boise. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I connect. I remember that. I remember you being there. And she said, or this person said, I'm going to define who it was. This person said, I literally was in the room when you introduced ClickFunnels 1.0. You showed it from stage. We saw it. I logged in the software and I couldn't figure it out. I tried for 3 or 4 days. I couldn't figure it out. And so I canceled my account and I haven't done anything for 8 years. So 8 years later, I'm here. And she's like, I wish I could go back 8 years ago and grab myself. It's like, just stick through it. Like, just focus. It's going to be hard. It's going to be frustrating. But if you can get through the learning curve, get through some of the pain, the frustration, the understanding, the bugs, like all things, like it'll be worth it on the other side. It's like 8 years of my life, I could have been doing this. I was the first one in the room and I missed it. And I don't want you guys to have that experience, right? I mean, there's 100,000+ people that registered for this. You guys are the first ones to see this, right? And you guys know we've been doing this now for 8+ years. Like, we're not going anywhere. The software is getting better and better and better. This isn't just a funnel building software. It's an entire platform, right? As I showed you guys yesterday, it's your membership sites, which membership sites platform is amazing. I can't wait. I want to do a challenge on like how to just do membership sites so you guys can build membership sites. The funnel builder is insane. It's getting like, it's so good. It's got your CRM, your email marketing, like all the things, your payment platform, like all the things are here. So understanding like what we're giving you is not just like a better system. Like, it is this huge improved process. Like, it's an enterprise platform you're gonna be able to run your entire business off of. And so understanding that, like, we're trying to give you baby steps to give you different pieces, but I promise you that it'll be worth it as you go through this process. Next, I want to talk about this morning as I was preparing. I had this story that just kept going through my head. A lot of you guys know I'm a wrestler. I grew up as a wrestler. I wrestled in high school. I was a state champ. I took second place in the nation. I was an All-American. I wrestled in college, first at Brigham Young University. And then when they dropped the wrestling program, I came to Boise State and wrestled my last 4 years here. And then I even went on and tried to compete for the Olympics. And like, in fact, there's old man tournaments. Once a year, I wrestle in the old man tournament, which is brutal. Every time I go and I compete, I usually lose a shoulder or a rib for 6 months afterwards. But as of today, I'm completely healed. So I'm feeling good, ready for my next tournament. But I love wrestling. It's one of my favorite things because it's taught me so many amazing life stories. And I remember my junior year, I won the state title. And at the end of the season, they have like the awards banquet. We're giving awards to everybody. And I remember my dad, who's one of the assistant coaches, he got on stage and he told a story that, man, like impacted me then and has impacted me so many times. I told the wrestler, I coach wrestling now. I told this to the wrestlers before. I want to share with you guys. I felt impressed. Like, this is something you guys need to hear. And what my dad said, he said, if you look at this room or any wrestling room, right? And for this case, like this coaching program, he says, every single person is sitting here and like, you all had the exact same coach, right? We all had the same coach. The coach taught the exact same thing, word for word the same, right? So how come some people become state champions and other people don't? Like, what's the difference? He said, it doesn't matter how good of a coach you are. A coach can only get somebody to a certain level. He said the difference between, and he's like, and everyone's getting the same thing, right? It's like the difference between someone who's successful and someone who's a champion is that extra 20%, the things they're willing to do that nobody else is willing to do, right? And so I saw it last night in the Facebook group. Like, I sat there for 3 hours reading your comments, trying to respond, trying to every issue I saw, hitting our supports and getting figured. Like, I killed myself last night. I'm tired today because I spent so much time. Yes, my wife, I had stress and anxiety for you guys. But what's fascinating is I saw both levels. I saw so many people like, I'm frustrated. Oh, I can't find my email. Oh, I can't. And he gave up. Same coaching, same everything. I saw other people who said, look, I'm going to do the extra 20% that champions are willing to do, no one else is. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to check in my junk folder. I'm going to go look. I'm going to go research. I'm going to try some other things. I'm going to take some personal responsibility. I'm going to go find those things. I'm going to log in. I'm going to try it. It didn't work. I'm going to try again. I'm going to try again. I'm going to hit support docket. I'm going to talk to the other people and they got it done. Same coaching, same platform, same email. They all got the same email you got. Everyone got the same things, right? What was the difference? It's that 20%. Okay, now I'm here because I don't want you guys to be not successful. I don't want you guys to leave I want you guys to be champions. Okay, and the reason why we're going to talk a lot about this today, because I know that you've been called to serve a group of people, right? This is not about you. As much as you're here today, like, I'm going to build a business, I'm going to make a bunch of money, like, it's not about you. And you're going to find that out in the journey. And I understand most people come in because I want to start a business, I need to make money, but you will find out really quickly as money starts coming in. You have your first funnel, it's going to hit, you're going to win a 2 Comma Club award, and you have this really weird feeling. And I get this all the time from 2 Comma Club winners. I won the award, it was really, really cool. And next day I was like, like that doesn't feel like I thought it was going to feel. And then they had this aha. Most people, not everyone does, but the people who have this aha, they realize, man, this whole journey I went on to try to achieve this thing was amazing. But like what I created in the wake of me doing that, right? Like the people's lives I had to serve to be able to build a business, the person I had to become, like that was the journey. That's the reason why we did it, right? I want you guys to become champions because it's going to make you a better person, right? There's people who've been called to serve. You're literally going to change their lives. In fact, today's whole day, we're talking about how to find those people so you can serve them, so you can change your life with your businesses, right? Funnels are all about finding the people and bringing them to you so you can give them your gifts, so you can give them the products, the services you created, right? And so I want you guys all to be champions. Like that's the difference, the extra 20%, okay? So yes, I understand there's going to be frustrations, but this is not a time to be frustrated. We're here. The challenge is free. You got the software for free for 30 days. Like I'm educating and teaching. I was up all night last night with our dev team, literally fixing your things as they're coming up in real time. Like we're here to serve you guys as much as we can because we believe in you. We believe in your mission. We believe that the people that you've been called to serve are waiting for you. And this tool, this platform is the thing that's going to give you the voice to be, you need to be able to find those people. Okay. And then the one last story I want to share, because I understand like everyone is here at different levels, different things. And I want to address that because the only thing we can really honestly change in our life, the only thing we can affect when things are happening, right? When we log in, I can't find the email, I can't do the thing, I'm frustrated. Like the only thing we have to really control is our attitude about something. And I'm gonna tell you another wrestling story about this. So I remember, so in wrestling, if you guys know, when you're wrestling, you have to cut a lot of weight, right? So I was weighing, like I come in on like Sunday night, I weigh 160 pounds. By Thursday, I weigh 130. So I was losing 30 pounds a week. And don't ask me how, I know it's not healthy, anyway, but I'm really good at losing weight, right? And so I'd lose weight, I'd cut weight. And I remember I'd come in after day 3 or day 4, you're going from 160, 150, 145, 100, and you're like, I still got 12 more pounds to lose before weigh-ins. And it's like this hard, painful thing, right? And I remember one day we had to practice and I was upset. Half our team's upset. I'm getting in a fight with my partner. We're beating each other up, like, in between matches and practicing stuff. And our coach pulled us all aside and he took us out in the hallway. And in my high school wrestling, the hallway was kind of like, it was like this dark pit, like this stairwell behind everything where there's no lights or anything. He pulled us back there, put us on the stairs, and he had this talk with us. And I remember he told us, he said, look, you're going to be here every single day at wrestling practice anyway. He's like, and so you got to go through the pain. You have to lose the weight. You have to do the things. Like the only thing you can control is your attitude. So you can either do this and be happy, or you can do this and be miserable, but you have to do it either way. So why don't you just show up happy? And I remember sitting there and I was like, God, he's right. Like I'm miserable, but I have to do this. It's way harder when I'm miserable doing it. And so next morning, I remember waking up and I went to school that day, came to the wrestling room, and those who know the process, if you're cutting weight, like you put on a pair of sweats, then you put on a pair of plastics to cover the sweats, and you put a pair of sweats on top of the plastics. And so you're like a snowman, right? And it's so hot and you're trying to sweat the water out of you. Then I put a beanie on and a hoodie on top of the beanie. And I walked down the wrestling room. I had a jump rope. And this is before all the teams started coming in. I started jumping rope. And then all of a sudden I was like, all I can control is my attitude. So as I'm jumping rope, I started to smile. And first kid comes in, he's like, Brunson, what are you doing? I'm like, cutting weight. He's like, why are you so happy? I don't know. And smiling. And then the next kid comes in, Brunson, what are you doing? I'm like, cutting weight. Like, why are you smiling? I'm like, I don't know. Third kid comes in, Brunson, what are you doing? I'm cutting weight. Why are you smiling? And out of my mouth came this line. I said, I don't know, but I've never seen someone lose with a smile on their face. So I'm going to keep on smiling. And I kept doing that. And that became my mantra through high school, through college. And so for you guys, it's the same thing. Like, yeah, this is going to be hard. So you can have a bad attitude, be miserable, or you can come in with a smile and be like, look, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never built a funnel before. I'm not technically like that good at these kind of things. I can't find my email. This is frustrating. I understand it, but I can't lose a smile on my face versus like, oh, I'm frustrated. I give up. Like, what? You gave up that easy? If you think entrepreneurship is an easy path, you are in big trouble. Okay? If this is the first hurdle, is logging in and editing a page. The hurdle is going to be bigger and bigger and bigger. want you guys to be prepared for that, okay? No matter how flawless I can make the software going to be, you have to learn a lot. You have to grow through this process so you can do it frustrating, like, oh, this isn't working. Oh, whatever. Like, okay, I understand it, but I'm here. We're figuring this out. We're working together. Like Russell, the entire team is here serving me, trying to figure these things out, trying to help us be successful. Show up with a good attitude. Show up with a smile. I promise you, as we can take you on a journey that's going to change your life, but more importantly, it's going to change the lives of those you've been called to serve. Okay. So thank you. So those are the messages I want to share this morning before we jumped in, because we have a lot of stuff today. Right? And today's all about finding those people who you've been called to serve and how do we get those people into our world. And we're going to do that through the very first funnel. Okay. This is the first funnel we're going to create, and it's a fun one. But before we dive into that, a couple of things. So again, yesterday we talked about the principle and concept of how do you bootstrap your business with the funnel, right? Today we're going to go through and actually build out your very first funnel. The homework assignment tonight is going to be fun. And I guarantee some of you guys will be frustrated by it. That's okay. Smile. You're building out a funnel to get your dream customers to come to you, to give you money so you can change their life. It's going to be amazing. Okay, but it's not, there's going to be hiccups along the road. I promise you that. Okay, but this is the process. You're learning. This is just practicing. Okay, I told you this before. The very first product I ever created was this, my potato gun DVD, right? I can't tell you how many problems. I had to figure out how to get a video camera. I couldn't afford one, so I had to borrow a video camera from someone. Then I had to record it. Then I figured out how do I get it from a VHS tape in a camera to a CD, and how do I edit, and how do I put, like, do, I don't know, graphic design. I had to figure out, like, all the things I had to do to go through the process, right? Same thing is going to be true here. Like, you're going to go through these things, and the first time it's going to be really hard. But guess what? When my potato gun DVD and funnel was done, I had done it. I was like, oh my gosh, it was so hard and so frustrating, but it was done. And then when I did my second funnel, guess what wasn't hard? Building a funnel. I just done it. On a product that didn't make me a ton of money, but I done it once. I was like, oh my gosh, this works. Next time I did it, it was easier. And it was easier. Where now, in my sleep, I can build a funnel, right? Because I've done it. So like, this is the process, like the repetition. We're learning these things. So this first one is going to be a little different. It's going to be a little hard. That's okay. Because the next one will be easier and easier. You've probably heard the mantra inside our community that you're one funnel away. Okay, I never said your very first funnel is going to be successful. I didn't say that. I said you're one funnel away. And some of you guys, it's the first funnel, the second funnel, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the 12th, the 11th. Like, it's all different, right? But the key is like getting the first one out there. Then you build the next one, the next one. That's what the power of ClickFunnels is. That what used to take us 3 to 6 months to build a single funnel, you can now do in 3 to 6 hours, right? So what used to take me half a year to iterate on, you can do in half a day. Like that's the power we're giving you with ClickFunnels. And so you can test and try and have some fun with it, but you got to do it with a smile. Because if you're like, oh, it didn't work. Oh, I'm frustrated. I'm walking. Nobody opted in and nobody bought my thing. Like that got you to stop. You have this mission, this calling, and that was what's made you stop. Like, no, have a smile on your face. And like, this is the thing. I'm learning these things, right? I'm practicing. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better and get better. And eventually I'm going to be really good. Okay. All right. So that's first funnel. Then day 3, tomorrow, we start talking about traffic, which is going to be really fun. Day 4, I'm going to talk about more of the other types of funnels we can be building. And day 5, we're going to focus on follow-up funnels. And like I said, after day 5, this Saturday, we're doing a huge celebration event. It's going to be an all-day event here from the office. I got some of the greatest speakers in the world coming to speak and to serve to you as kind of a big celebration. So make sure Saturday you're here. Bring your kids, bring your spouse, bring your business owners, and like pay attention all day Saturday because we're going to have so much fun together here from this room. So it's going to be awesome. Okay, so coming back to this today, once again, this is not a Mr. Miyagi moment, okay? We're going to be waxing on, waxing off. Some of the stuff I'm going to tell you, you're going to be like, why is Russell telling me this stuff? And I promise you there's a purpose because as I told you guys yesterday, there's going to be a time when someone's going to throw a punch at you and you're going to instinctively wax on and be like, that's why Russell told me those things. Okay, so the first question to ask yourself as you're getting into this business, and this actually came up a lot in the VIP room. So all the VIPs heard us talk about this yesterday, but a lot of the VIPs who were asking questions were like, well, I have this product, but I don't know how to do a funnel. Like there's just a product. And a couple other variations of that question. And the thing that kept coming back to, I think 3 or 4 times during the Q&A, we came back to this was like, the first step in this business is not what am I going to sell? It's who is the customer that you want to serve? Who is your dream customer? Like that's the question you got to figure out first, right? Because everything else we're going to do is going to be built around this, right? I didn't wake up one day like, I'm going to build ClickFunnels, right? I wish I was that smart, but that wasn't what happened. I woke up and over time I decided like, man, the customers I love serving, the people that make me the most excited are entrepreneurs. And it wasn't just any kind of entrepreneur. There's a lot of entrepreneurs who are just like, let's get rich quick and make a bunch of money. Like that's not like who I'm obsessed with. I'm obsessed with mission-based driven entrepreneurs. They do want to make a lot of money, but they're there because they're trying to create something amazing. They see the change they can do. Like those are the people I've been called to serve. So that's who my dream customer is, right? And when I made that decision, like I put a stick in the sand and said, this is my people. This is who I'm going to serve. Then it wasn't like, well, here's a product I'm going to give them. It was like, what do these people actually want? Right? And then also it changed everything. It went from like me trying to create a product and trying to sell it to this is who I've been called to serve. Like, now, what do these people need? Let me start listening. Let me ask them questions. Let me find out what they want. Okay. So first question to ask yourself for all of you is really figure out like who is your dream customer? Like, who is that person that you're supposed to serve with your business? Okay, business is really, if you look at what business is as a whole, business is just you are serving a group of people with your products and your services. Okay, so ClickFunnels, our entire community is serving mission-based entrepreneurs. Like, that's who our dream customers are. So my first question for you is like, who is your customer? Who is that person? Because after I know who the who is, then like if I know, okay, this is my who, so this is the pond, and there's a whole bunch of my dream customers in here. I'm gonna make them look like fish because it's easier for my next analogy, right? So here's my pond here. Like, here's my dream customers, a whole bunch of them right there. Now I know who that is. Now it's really easy to go and create bait and create things to go and capture those people. One of the biggest problems we have as entrepreneurs, like, I have an idea for this thing. In fact, my very first idea I ever had was a product called Zip Brander. And I was so excited about the idea and what it was. And I created this thing and I tried to sell it and almost nobody bought it because I didn't know who my dream customer was, right? I'm trying to sell it to all these different people who are like, what is it? I don't even know what that is. I'm like, why would I use that? Okay. When we did ClickFunnels, it came on the back of this. Okay. We identified this is who I want to serve. And then for me, like, ClickFunnels wasn't the first answer. It's like, well, how can I serve these people? What do I have that I can give them? And for me at the time, I had a couple other companies at the time, and we did a lot of split testing, which you'll learn more about outside of funnels. But split testing is where you take 2 pages, right? So 2 landing pages, and you test and see which one's going to convert higher. And then you do another test. And we tested a bunch of different elements in our funnels. And I thought, well, my dream customers would probably love to see what those results were. Like, they're pretty cool to see like what worked, like what converted higher, this page or this page, this color or this color, a green button versus a blue button, right? So we took all these split tests, we put them into a report, into a little booklet, and I started putting it out there. And what's crazy is I put out that book, and my dream customers were like, ooh, that's amazing, like, I want that thing, and they came towards me. And everybody else didn't know what it was, and they just kind of walked away, and they didn't come towards me, right? So I created something that specifically was created to get my dream customers to come to me. Okay. So first question I have for you guys all is think about, it's like, who is your dream customer? Who's the person that you're supposed to be serving? Okay. If you can't answer that yet, that's okay. If you're someone who's going to be doing funnel building for a different company, that's the question to ask the owner. Like, who are you called to serve? And they say, oh, I'm called to serve everybody. Like, we're trying to sell our products as many people as possible. Like, that's not the right answer. You want to niche down, try to figure out exactly who it is. Right? Who is this person I'm trying to serve? Because the more clear you can be on that person, the easier it's going to be able to find them, and the easier it's going to be able to create something in a funnel. It's going to get those people to actually come to you, so then they can buy your products and your services. Okay, so that's question number 1. Okay, now after you understand that, and you're saying these are the people that I want to serve, I know exactly who they are. Now the next goal is that now I need to build a funnel to get those people to come to me, right? Because when I started, I didn't have a list of 1 million people who were, mission-based entrepreneurs who wanted to change the world and make a whole bunch of money. I didn't have a list like that. I didn't have a way to get those people, right? They were all on the internet, which I think is like, let's see how many pages back from yesterday. I wonder if I can find it in like 2 more seconds. If not, yeah. This we talked about yesterday, right? So like, I had this thing. I knew I wanted to serve these people. And they were all up here on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. There are millions, billions of people up here. Like, I had to create something to get those people, right? So the way I get these people from the internet to me is through a funnel. And the first funnel we talk about is a simple funnel. It's called a lead funnel, okay, or squeeze page funnel, or lead magnet funnel. There's different names for it, but it's a funnel that's going to get people to come to you. Okay, now before I break down what that funnel type is and how it works, I need to explain one overarching strategy. When you understand this, it'll make it easier, okay? So this is the thing you have to understand. In this business, in basically any business, but specifically selling things on the internet, the big secret is this, is that the money is in the list. Okay, what is the list? The list is the email address. It's the name and email address of the people that are following you, okay? My guess is that if you registered for this challenge, you did it through one of 2 ways. Either you saw an ad somewhere on some page on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, somewhere. You saw an ad, and you clicked on it, and you registered for this challenge. Or number 2, you got an email. An email from either me or Dean and Tony or Garrett or like whoever. We had hundreds of people all promoting this, right? So you probably came from either an ad or an email, okay? The big secret, if you look at right now inside of ClickFunnels, we spend, I don't know, $1 to $2 million a month in Facebook, Instagram, all those ads, but we still make more money off our email list than we do from all the other advertising sources put together. And the email list is free. It doesn't cost us any money, right? So the list is the key. That's the secret. So I need to create something that's going to get people to join my list, and I can send emails to them, okay? So I'm going to tell you guys a story how I learned this, and I learned it the hard way, so you don't have to. This is a picture of me in my very first house my wife and I ever bought after we got married. And I was learning this game. This is, almost 20 years ago now. I was a college student. I was just learning this whole business like you guys are learning right now. And somebody told me this concept, like the money's in the list. And I was like, what is he talking about? He said, the money's in the list. I'm like, that makes no sense to me. He said, okay, imagine this. If you had an email list of let's say you have an email list of 30,000 people, right? And you have a new product come out, you send an email, the email goes out to 30,000 people, and just 1% of those people buy your product. How much money did you make? Right? Let's say it's a $50 product. In fact, hopefully some mathematicians in here can do the math for me real quick, okay? So let's say I have an email list. So here's an email list, and this is all the people's names, email addresses, right? I send an email to this list. Let's say it's 30,000 people, and I send them to a funnel, and on this funnel, I'm selling a $50 product, okay? Now, if I send it to 30,000 people, and 1% of the people, 1% of these 30,000 people are like, that's a cool product, I want to buy it. How much money did I just make? I made $15,000. And what did I do to make that $15,000? I sent an email to my list. Now let's say, oh, it's not going to work, Russell. What if you only get 0.5% of the people who click on this to buy the product? Well, I only made $7,500. Oh, I only made $7,500. For sending an email to my list, like that's a 15-minute process, right? What if I send an email every single day, or like twice a day, or once a month, or once a week? Or what if I get a really good offer here and I just get 3% to buy? Or what if my list isn't 30,000? What if it's 130,000? What if it's 230,000? Right? These are the metrics we start playing this business. So he explained that. I was like, this is the greatest thing in the world. I'm going to be like, I understand. Like, I got it. How many of you guys, by the way, just had that aha moment where you're like, oh, that's what they're doing. I get emails from Russell. I'm one of like 6 million people in Russell's email list. If 1% of people are buying, like, whoa, that makes sense, right? I'm on Dean's Graciosa's list, Tony Robbins' list. I'm on whoever's list. Like, this is the game. Just so you guys are fully aware. This is the game. Everything we do, every funnel, the goal of almost every single funnel is to get people to join my email list. And after they're on my list, I can send emails to other funnels to sell them products and services. That's the game. It's really that simple. Okay? So when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, I need an email list. How many of you guys just had that epiphany? Like, I want an email list. And how many of you guys want 10,000 people on your email list? Who wants 20? Who wants 50,000? Who wants 100? Who wants 1 million? Who wants 6? Like, yes, that's the game. That's how we play this game. Okay, well, you guys understand that. So when I heard that as, Russell, who's in college, I'm like, I need an email list. And so I started freaking out. So the first thing I did is I Googled how to buy an email list. And the first thing that popped up was someone selling the DVD that had it was like 6 million spam-free email addresses. I was like, done. I think it was $60 I didn't have. I found the money. I sent it to the dude. 3 weeks later, I get a CD in the mail, and there's like 6 million emails on it. I'm like, I'm going to be rich. This is the greatest thing in the world. I'm doing the math in my head, 6 million people. If I get 1% to buy a $50 product, I'm doing the whole thing. I'm like, I hadn't made $7,500 in my entire life up to that point, period. I was like, one email, and I was doing the math. And I remember my wife was supporting me at the time. She's amazing. She's here today. She was working, and I remember I was trying to explain to her, like, hey, this is how it works. Like, this DVD, 6 million people emails. If we get 0.0001% to buy the $30 thing, like, you can retire tomorrow. Like, it's going to be amazing. And so she was like, oh, okay, good luck with that. And so anyway, I remember that night trying to figure it out, and it was so many headaches, right? Like, I had to buy the software to send the emails, and I had to call my internet service provider to make sure they could open the port. Anyway, a million things came along the way, right? But I was like, I got to figure this out, figure it out. And finally, like one night I got it all set up. I wrote an email, I clicked send, and I started watching like email 1 sent, email 2, email 3. I was like, it's happening. Like, this is done. I'm watching this. And in some context, this is back before high-speed internet. So my whole computer was hooked up to a dial-up modem, right? So to do that, you unplug your phone, plug your modem in. The older people in the crowd remember this. So it's on dial-up modem. We send it, and I show Colette, like, emails being sent out. We're going to go to bed. I'm like, you can literally quit your job tomorrow. Like, we're rich. It's over. Like, it's done. And so go to bed that night. Next morning, wake up, and I remember I look at the thing, and it only sent like 6,000 emails. I'm like, why is it going so slow? I'm supposed to be a millionaire by now. This is not working, right? And then about that time, Colette's leaving to work, and she's like, hey, I need to use the phone. I was like, but I'm working right now, as you can see, like the sending out emails, I can't. And she's like, I have to make a call or something. So I remember going under the desk, unplugging in the modem, and then plugging in the phone. And while I was still under the desk, the phone rang. I remember I was hitting my head like, why is the phone ringing so quick? And I pick up the phone, and it's my internet service provider on the other line. And this dude is cursing me out, yelling at me, talking about how he's going to sue me and he's going to shut us down. I've been spamming all night. I was like, no, like, you understand, like, the emails I'm sending, they're spam-free emails. They actually want this. And the guy, I remember he said, son, that is the definition of spam. And I was like, oh, okay. And so anyway, internet gets cut off. I give my wife a phone. I'm like, please don't quit your job yet. We need a couple more days to figure this out. And I remember being frustrated. And I remember leaving that day, walking to school, which I was going to Boise State, just 2 or 3 blocks down, walked to school, got into class. I'm all bummed out because I thought I was going to be a millionaire by morning. I remember after between classes, I snuck to the computer lab and I checked my email. And the first thing that I checked my email, and the craziest thing happened. in my inbox were probably half a dozen sales, people that had bought the thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, it worked. I was like, this is crazy. I did it illegally, totally understand, but it worked. So I was like, okay, there's got to be a way to make this work. How do I do this, but how do I get a list that's not illegal? So I started going, how do you get a list not illegally? And that took me on this journey that I'm taking us on today, okay? But that is the goal. Like, there's a way to do it. This process is not that difficult. You build a list of 1,000, then 10,000, then 20,000, then 50,000, right? When I was getting started in this business, I had a mantra, like, how do I give myself a raise every single day? And it was this: if I can get more people to join my list, it's literally like give myself a raise every day, okay? So this is some of the marketing math. And again, this is not income claims or anything. This is helping you understand like the marketing math behind how this game is worked, right? So you should be able, as you start building a list, you should average $1 per month per name on your email list. Does that make sense? Okay, this is like the baseline metrics. I see very rare that people only hit this. This is like a low bar. But you should be able to make $1 per name per month on your list. Okay. And I remember at the time, my wife and I just bought our first real estate, and I think we were cash flowing like $200 a month. And I was like, man, we spent, I don't know, $150,000 to buy this house. We have a bank loan. We have to clean toilets. We have to like all the stuff that comes with the house. I was like, I'm cash flowing $200 a month. I was like, if I had 200 people on my email list, that's the equivalent of like what I'm making on this whole rental property with all the stress and the headaches and the overhead and liabilities, or 200 people on my email list, right? And the light bulbs again are going off my head. So the way the math breaks down, so if you have 1,000 people on your list, you should be able to average $1,000 a month, right? If you get 10,000 people on your list, you should be able to average $10,000 a month. You get 100,000 people on your list, you should be able to average $100,000 a month, right? And that's the numbers, that's the metrics, okay? So when you're in this whole funnel game, the goal is thinking, who is my dream customer? And then how do I get 1,000 to be on my email list? And how do I get 5,000, then 10,000, 100,000? You're not going to get 100,000 fast, but if you do this game, you keep playing this consistently, not for a week, and then, I get frustrated. But you play it today, you play it tomorrow, you play it again and again. In a month from now, you're going to have 100 people on your list. And 3 months from now, you're going to have 200. And a year from now, it's going to keep going and going. And someday, 3 or 4 years in the future, you have 100,000 people on your list. True financial freedom, okay? But this is a game you start playing today, right? That's why the first funnel we're talking about is your lead funnel, like, because we need to start getting leads coming in, because this is how you win this game, okay? Now, again, on top of that, you should be able to average more than that. This is for people who are just basically sending emails to the list. If you do some of the stuff we're talking about, you can and should make more. There's a direct correlation between how much money you make and the relationship you build with your list. Okay, my guess, if you came to this challenge, if you're on my list, you probably have a relationship. You probably see me on Facebook Live, listen to podcasts, or you've bought my books in the past. Like, we have a relationship, right? So you're gonna spend more money with me than someone who is cold, doesn't know who I am, right? And so a big reason why I'm doing this challenge, I'm trying to build a relationship with you guys. So in the future, you'll be more likely to open my emails, more likely to come to other things, right? So I'm doing things to build a relationship with my list. It's not just sending out offers all day long, okay? So the big question, if you see that, is like, okay, this is amazing. How do I generate leads and how do I build my own list, right? How many of you guys, is that the number one question? Your number one goal in life right at this point is, I need a big list, right? Hopefully it is. If not, like, this is the whole point of this challenge, right? Is understand, like, this is the secret to internet marketing. People ask me, what's the secret to your success? I've got a huge email list. I spent a lot of time building it, right? And it builds every single day. In fact, every single day, like when I come to my office, my key metrics, how many people join our list today? That's it. That's what I'm focusing on, right? And we start focusing on what you focus on grows, right? So I focus on how many people join my list today, right? An average day now is 3,000 or 4,000 people a day are joining my list, which means I'm giving myself a $3,000 or $4,000 a month raise every single day. How do you give yourself a raise today? Get more people on your list. Get more people on your list, okay? Today, we're going to talk about the mechanism, how you get people into your list. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about ads. You're going to learn, like, okay, if I do this thing, I get more people on my list. If I do this, I get more people. And it becomes this compounding interest over time, okay? That's why this is not a short game, you guys. My goal is not for you to win a 2-comma club tomorrow. My goal is to build this thing so that you have a movement of people. You have 30,000 of your dream customers on your list, then 50,000 dream customers, 100,000 dream customers, right? I remember when I got started, somebody told me that 30,000 was like the metric. Like, when you get 30,000 people on your email list, that's true freedom. Like, that was the goal. That was the metric. And so for me, I was like, hey, I want freedom. I'm a college kid. I don't want to go get a job. And I don't want to enter the real world. How do I get 30,000 people on my list in the next 2 years before I graduate? That became the focal point. And by the time I graduated, I hit it, right? But it's all because that becomes the focus. So the question is, how do I generate leads and how to build my list? Let me walk you through the history of this, okay? The old way people did this, how many of you guys remember this? If you're more than, I'm 42. So if you're older than 42, you should remember this. But the internet back in the day, you'd go to a website, and then what would happen? Boom, these things would pop up, and they were super annoying. It's like, hey, congratulations, you're our millionth visitor. Put your email address down below to win whatever, right? Or, hey, there's a free report. Put your email address in, I'll send it to you, right? And these pop-ups would happen all the time. Now, people hated pop-ups. People like me love them. I built a huge email list off of pop-ups, right? You come to the website, pops up, give me your email address, I'll give you a free report, a free whatever the lead magnet was. They put it in and boom, all of a sudden they join my list. And that's how I just grow my list. And it works really, really good until everyone complained. And then Internet Explorer started putting pop-up blockers in the software. And overnight, pop-up stopped working. And it was really sad. I was like, dang it, I can't build a list anymore. How am I going to be successful? And then there were some really smart people. I don't know who invented this. I've heard 3 or 4 people claim they did. So I don't know who it was. But somewhere along the line, someone said, look, if we change this process, right now it's you go to a website and then the thing pops up that asks for the email address. What if we flip the order? So instead of you go to a website, you see a pop-up asking for email address. What if the website was just a form that asked for the email address? They put your email in and the next page, you would see the actual website. And I remember watching in discussion boards back in, when was that, 90, 2000, early 2000s, people like debating this. It would never work. It's the stupidest idea ever. And then people actually went and did it. Right? And then what happened from this process is somebody invented what's now called the squeeze page. Okay, the squeeze page is very simple. And the squeeze page funnel is 2 pages, very simple. Page number 1, you have what's called a lead magnet. It says, hey, if you give me your email address, I will give you this thing in exchange. Okay, give me your email address, I'll give you this thing in exchange. It's a lead magnet, right? It's a magnet that's going to get somebody to come to you and you're going to trade the thing. And then on the page number 2 in the funnel, you give them the lead magnet. It's that simple. Okay. The first time I ever saw this successfully working, there's a guy named, his pen name was David D'Angelo. Somebody knows his real name is Evan Pagan. And he had a company back then called Double Your Dating. And he was the very first person who had built a company based on this. And everyone was talking about it. I kept hearing people talk about it. And I think at the time he had 100 employees. It was a huge thing. And it was a dating company helping men to go on dates and stuff like that. And I remember I kept hearing these stories about him. And finally one day I was like, I just got married to Colette. So I was like, I don't want to go to a dating website. I got to see what's happening. So I went to the site. It was doubleyourdating.com. The site's still there. Evan sold it, and I have no idea what they're doing now. So I'm not vouching for it all, but I remember going to doubleyourdating.com. What I saw was this page right here. And I was like, here's this huge, multi-8-figure company, and that's their website. I was like, this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Okay. And I promise some of you guys are going to do the homework tonight, and I give you 6 versions of a page like this. And you'll be like, this is the ugliest page ever. Yeah. It's on purpose. Okay, you're gonna make beautiful sites later. Beautiful sites are great for branding and people to rebuy from you, but to get somebody to give you their email address, simple, boring, words on a page. Okay, this is gonna be the most simple thing in the world. It's gonna be so confusing to you, but I promise you, pages like this will make you more money than anything else I've ever done. Okay, so trust me, this is Mr. Miyagi stuff, right? But Russell, it's ugly, but it's gonna make you a lot of money. In fact, I remember one time I asked a guy, I was showing this, and I was like, would you rather have a page that's really, really beautiful and pretty, you can show your friends, or a page that makes you money? And he literally said, I think I'd rather have pages pretty. I was like, what? Oh my gosh. So, okay. You can throw a flower on it. Put your logo on it. I don't care. But this is the key. This is what works, right? So I've never seen this page, and I was like, this is where it says, you're going to learn the secrets that most men will never know about women. Inside, you're going to learn the KISS test. First line. Inside, you learn the KISS test. Okay, now the KISS test was Eben's lead magnet. You give me your email address, I'm going to give you the KISS test. What is the KISS test? It's going to help. It's going to let you know if she's ready to be kissed. Okay, so for the men coming into his world, they're like, oh, how, I'm on a date. Do I kiss her or not? And they're stressed out. And he's like, hey, give me your email address. I'm going to give you the KISS test. You know exactly if she wants to get married or if she wants to kiss, right? So that was the page. So I was like, okay, I got to see what this is. And so guess what I did? I did what all good entrepreneurs do. I funnel hacked it, right? So I put my email address in. Now, for me, I've been married 2 months of the time. So first thing I told Colette, I'm putting my email address on the dating site. This is not for me to learn how to date. I'm just funnel hacking. I want to see what's happening. And she's like, cool, don't worry about it. So went and put my email address in. And then on the next page, this is crazy. So the first page says, give me your email address. I'll tell you what the KISS test is. The next page, you can see what the pages look like right here. It took me forever to find this on the internet. There's 3 paragraphs. And in these 3 paragraphs, he explains the KISS test. How many of you guys are like, what is the KISS test? I must know. Okay. I will tell it to you for those who are wondering. So the KISS test was this. When you're on a date with a girl, and at the end of the night, you walk her to the doorstep, and this is how you know if she wants to be kissed. You walk to the doorstep, you look her in the eyes, and then you see if she has hair that's kind of falling over her face, you go like this, you push the hair up behind her ear. And one of 2 things is going to happen. Number 1, she's going to lean into that. That means she wants to be kissed. Number 2, she's going to lean away from it. That means she doesn't, and you run. Okay? And that's it. That was the KISS test. 2 paragraphs, maybe 3, right? And then after that says, hey, if you think that secret was good, click down below to get a copy of my book called Double Your Dating. And then from there, push them into the next products and things like that. But that was it. That was the KISS test. They built the list of millions and millions of men by giving the KISS test as the lead magnet. That was it. Okay? Now, I promise you guys, when we end this party and you go back home and you do your homework, you are all going to overthink this. You're going to try to build a lead magnet that is 8,000 page book. And you're going to look at how Russell did it. And you're going to do this. And please make it simple, especially to begin with. The KISS test was simple. Built a $20 million plus a year business off of the KISS test. 3 paragraphs. That's it. All you need is like one piece of advice, one secret, one thing that you have that your dream customers are going to want, right? If you know who your dream customers are back here, and you're like, all right, my dream customers are mission-driven entrepreneurs. They're going to want to see my split test. I'm going to give them one of my split test results in exchange for email address. Guess what happens? Boom. My dream customers are going to go crazy for that. What is in your business? What would your dream customers, if you had this like one piece of advice you could give them, the KISS test, what is the thing you could give them? Then in exchange, they would give you their email address. Okay, that's the question. And you figure out what that thing is, that is the beginning of this whole thing, how the whole list building process begins. Okay, now again, so don't try to make something super complicated. Think about something simple. I was pulling some examples. This is one of Brendan Burchard's. Brendan, one of my friends, and his dream customers are high performing people, right? Entrepreneurs, CEOs, things like that. And so he made his lead magnet. If you look at here, it says free download, the one-page productivity planner used by CEOs and achievers worldwide. It's one page. It's a piece of paper. So that's his lead, like a piece of paper. How many of you guys have a piece of paper? Do you have like a piece of paper, like 3 bullet points of what you do? Like that could be the lead magnet. It doesn't be complicated. It's simple. It's easy. It's just very, very easy, right? And that was his lead magnet he used to build a huge list. Okay, this is one of my lead magnets. Now this is, I call it the Marketing Secrets Black Book. And this is where I'm nervous even showing you this. You're like, oh, I got to build a whole black book. I had somebody go through my podcasts, pull out transcriptions. We transcribed some of the episodes. We put them in a book, slap some pictures on it, and boom, that became the lead magnet. Okay, it can be that simple. So just finding something. In fact, in the homework, I made the homework video last night. I literally went to YouTube and I found a video. It was really cool. In fact, I have a friend who built a huge list. He's in the real estate investing market. He went to YouTube and he found a video of Robert Kiyosaki talking about real estate investing, and that became the lead magnet. So on the opt-in page, it says, hey, do you want to watch my favorite video on YouTube of Robert Kiyosaki breaking down his, what is the EFB, whatever, that framework, like opt in here, I'll give you my favorite YouTube video. And then on the next page, he just embedded the YouTube video. Like it was that easy. So like, don't overcomplicate this, right? You can get your favorite podcast episode. Like, oh, I listened to this podcast episode by so-and-so. You know, Joe Rogan talked about something. It was my favorite podcast episode everywhere. Obviously, he's done 4,000 episodes. If you want to know what the best one was, often here, I'm going to give you a link to my favorite Joe Rogan podcast. Like it can be that simple, right? So don't make this complicated. Lead magnet is just something that gets my dream customers excited. That's it. Excited enough to like, oh, that's amazing. I want that. I will give my email address in exchange. That's it. That's what lead magnet is. Okay, simple, but something that's, they're going to trade you their email address in exchange for that thing. Okay, and that's how you get your dream customers to start coming to you. Okay, it's like a magnet. So they call it a lead magnet. The term lead magnet was coined by Dan Kennedy. He's one of my mentors. He owns a company called Magnetic Marketing. Everything's about magnet. How do we get people to come to us instead of us chasing them? Right. So we create this lead magnet page. It gets people to come to us because they want the lead. They put their email address in, and now they join our list. And now we have the chance to email them and follow up with them. Okay. Again, here's what the actual funnel looks like. Step 1 for productivity planner, put name, email address in, and then step 2, you get on the page, and there's a video of him explaining the productivity planner and a link to the Google Doc. That's it. Right. Here's mine. A PDF, they opt in. And I wanted to show this one because look at these numbers. This little lead magnet right here, this is, I think I took the screenshot probably almost a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. At the time I took the screenshot, 272,327 people had joined my list from it. Oh, wait. So if you send an email, Russell, to just those 227,000 people, and 1% of them bought a $20 product or $50 product, like what does that end up being? Like you can do the math, right? But this little thing, it took me 2 hours to get the ebook put together, get someone to design the graphic, put a headline, put the thank you page. And it was like frustrating. There was like issue, like, yeah, all this stuff happened. But after it was done and it was out there, 272,000 people joined my email list. How much money do you think that's made me? A lot, okay? I just want you to put that out there. Like, is it worth figuring this out? Yes. Is it worth pushing through the frustration? Like, it's not working. I'm struggling. I can't figure this out. Yes. 272,000 people, right? Okay. If I average $1 per month per name, how much money is that? Like, do the math in your head, you guys. Like, this is like buying 14 apartment complexes, right? It's like I just played Monopoly and I got the entire board's mine. I've upgraded all the houses and all the income's coming to me off of a lead magnet. Okay. Who's here having the epiphany right now? I want to make sure that everyone is. This is like such a simple concept, but it's so important. Most people miss this. Okay. All right. And the step number 3, use lead magnet. You get your dream customers to come to you. They join your list, and then you send emails. And the question is like, well, how do I make email? How do I make money off these people? You send emails to different offers. Okay. Now the offers can be anything. Okay. Yesterday, a lot of you guys messaged and said that you're part of a network marketing, a home-based business. You don't have your own product. Cool. You don't have to. right? This is the process. You go and you create a really good lead magnet. So there's a picture of a magnet, and people with email address. You get your dream customers to come to you, right? Dream customers, they're coming to you. Dream customers coming to you, right? Now they go thank you page. You give them the lead magnet. The emails come out, and over here, this is wherever the product or service you're selling. This could be your product. It could be a network marketing company's product. It could be your friend's product. It could be anything, right? And you send emails to it, and you sell those products, right? If it's your own product, keep all the money. If it's somebody else's product, you split affiliate commissions, right? ClickFunnels alone, we've had tons of affiliates promote ClickFunnels. We paid out $91 million year to date, or not year to date, lifetime to date, to other people who don't own ClickFunnels, who sent emails to the list promoting ClickFunnels, and we pay them affiliate commissions. Almost every product or service on the internet has an affiliate program, right? So even if you don't have a product yet, you don't have to. Start building lists. Like, figure out who's my dream customer. So let's do network marketing. Let's say you're in a fitness network marketing program, right? And you know that your dream customer are men and women who are trying to lose weight, okay? So what kind of lead magnet could I create? Okay, I could go find out who's our favorite weight loss coach in the world. Jillian Michaels from The Biggest Loser, right? And she was on a podcast episode so-and-so talking about the 3 secret carbs you can eat that actually make you lose weight, right? So she created the content. So I could put a thing out there. Hey, there's my Jillian Michaels, the lead trainer from whatever, talked about this on a podcast. If you opt in, I'll send you a link to my favorite podcast episode. Then you put it out there, your dream customers see that. They're like, oh, that's amazing. I want to hear what it is. They give you the email address, thank you page, you give them a link to the podcast. Now they're on your email list. And now you say, okay, they listen to that podcast, and then you start sending emails. Hey, my name's Russell. Hey, I'm part of this company over here. This is a cool product and service we have. Here's another cool thing, right? You start selling people into that, right? And this could be a network marketing product. This could be your own product. It could be someone else's. Like, it doesn't matter, right? After they're on your list, you have the ability to communicate with them over and over and over again. If you've been on my list, you've seen I've sold my products. I've sold other people's products, right? I see it in local businesses, right? I have chiropractors who do this kind of process, and they'll sell their own product, and they do joint ventures with other people who have lists, right? And they'll cross promote each other's businesses and things like that. There's a million different things you can do with this. The key is understanding, like, you got to build a list, okay? Figure out who your dream customer is, build that list, and then you can sell anything to them, any product, any service. In fact, if you don't know what to sell them, you can ask them. How do you think I came up with the idea to write the .com Secrets book? I had a list of all these entrepreneurs, and they kept asking me all these questions, right? I had a split test thing that people were giving email address to start building a list. I built a list of about 10,000 people. And then I would show me split test results, and people would ask me question after question about funnels and how they worked, all sorts of stuff. I was like, everyone's asking the same question. I should create a product around that. So I wrote my very first book called .com Secrets, which is a book that teaches people how funnels work, right? I started selling that book. I made a bunch of money doing that. And then I asked the audience, like, they kept asking more questions, and the list that I'd built up, they started asking more questions. I'd ask them, like, what are you interested in? Like, where are you stuck? What are you frustrated? People like, we have these funnels, but like, they're not converting. Like, I don't know what to put on the funnels. I was like, oh, I know exactly what I should create. I could write a book called Expert Secrets that teaches you how to do your messaging to put it on the pages of the funnel to get people to actually buy from you, right? So I wrote that book, we launched that, and that became the next product, right? And a little while later, people are like, I have this funnel, my messaging is great, but I don't have any people coming to it. Like, how do I get traffic or people to show up? And I was like, oh, they're telling me what they want. I'm going to go write a book called Traffic Secrets, right? So I'm not building a business where I'm creating products and shoving down people's throat. I'm building a business where I'm trying to get my dream customers here, and then I ask them what they want. I find out, like, what is it you're struggling with? What can I create? What's the next thing? That ClickFunnels came because all these entrepreneurs who were following us were struggling building funnels. Like, we should build a software platform that makes it easier for people. Like, we're not geniuses. We just had our audience tell us what they wanted, then we built it. Why do we build ClickFunnels 2.0? We've had 8 years of people telling us what they wish ClickFunnels had. Okay, let's do it. Let's serve our audience, right? Business is all about that. You figure out who you want to serve. You get those people to join your list, and then you figure out what they want, and you just create those things for them to serve them, right? And the higher level you can serve them, the more money you're going to make. Right? If you serve them, you only sell them products down here that aren't worth a lot, you'll make a little bit of money. But man, if you can solve bigger problems, you make more money. Right? And so that's how this whole game is played. Does that make sense, you guys? I know I got a little bit in the deep water, but I just wanted you guys to see kind of where we're going with this, because it all starts with this. Figure out who's your dream customer and how do I get as many of them as possible. I got to build a lead magnet. I'm going to set up a 2-page funnel. Get people, give me their email address. They come into my world, and I can send them emails to sell them products and services and all sorts of stuff like that. That's how we play this game. Okay? All right. I'm reading all the comments coming through, and they're all like, every time I talk about something, like, I talk about books. Who published a book? I talk about this. Like, outside the context, we can talk about that in the VIP room if you guys do questions afterwards and stuff. But this is the biggest thing I want to give you guys today, is helping you understand this principle, okay? Because if you understand it, and if you really lean into it, you really figure out, like, who am I called to serve? Then, man, this whole business becomes fun. And my 2 guest speakers you guys are going to hear from soon today, both of them were this way. Like, they both felt called, like, man, these are the people I've been called to serve. And then how do I create something to get those people to come to me, right? And if they come to me, how do I serve them? I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. And both of them built huge companies on the backside of this one question. It's like, who is my dream customer I'm supposed to serve, right? Let me find those people, let me gather them, and I'm going to figure out what they want, and then we'll create products and services to change their lives. Yes, I told you earlier, like, I know all you guys want to win a 2 Comma Club award, and I want you to as well. I want you to achieve that. But what you're going to find out really quickly is that this journey is not about you guys making a whole bunch of money. Yes, that's an amazing perk of it. But the real reality is your job is to figure out who are my dream customers. I've been called to change these people's lives. And then the more ways you change their lives, the more things you do, the higher level you serve at, the more money you're going to make. It's like the most amazing reciprocal relationship in the world. So you figure out, I got to serve more people. How to do it? You make more money, and everybody wins together. And that's really the game that we're playing. Okay. All right, so I'm going to talk about really quick your homework assignment, just so you guys know what's going to be coming. So again, it's going to be built in ClickFunnels 2.0. What we're going to do is we're going to build a very basic 2-step lead squeeze funnel, right? Page number 1 is your squeeze page. Page number 2 is your thank you page, okay? And again, this is when you're just trying. It doesn't have to be real. No one ever has to see it other than sharing it in the Facebook group. You may not even have a lead magnet yet. That's totally cool. In fact, I could go and spend 3 days just teaching you how to build a lead magnet. That's not the goal of this. I want you guys to do the process of like building a funnel like this, okay? Because if you want to do this, you could go to any company and build a lead squeeze funnel for them. Right? Go to the local restaurant. Like what lead magnet does the restaurant have? Maybe it's a coupon. Maybe it's 20% off coupon, right? You go to the chiropractor. What kind of coupon do you have? What kind of lead magnet do you have? Maybe it's a free massage, or maybe it's a 2-for-1 when you first come in, or whatever. Like lead magnets are just a thing that your dream customer is going to want. So it could be a coupon, it could be a report, it could be a video, it could be a link. Like it could be anything. And so understanding you're doing this is to learn it for either yourself or for somebody else if you can do it for them. Okay. So these are the pages. Again, I told you they're simple and they're ugly. This is page number 1. This is the ugliest page of all time, yet it's also for me the highest converting. I get like 80-something% of people land on this page. Give me their email address. So I'm going to give you my highest converting page. You guys want this one? Okay. In the one page, there's a link. You click on this and it'll take this and it'll copy it into your funnel. And then you come in here and you just change this headline to your headline. You change that picture to your picture. You change it and like you just change it and then it's live. Okay. So you get this one. This is the second one we created, a more feminine. We've got more in-betweener. We've got this one. Anyway, there's just different styles and layouts of proven formulas that convert for landing pages, but they're all simple and easy for you guys to use, okay? So what you can do is in the one page, you'll click on any of those 6 you want, or you can click on all of them. They'll copy them all in your account if you want. They'll be in your account, and then you're going to go in there, and you'll see it on the left-hand side here. You'll see there's 2 pages, squeeze page and thank you page. You go and you just click on squeeze page, and then you edit it, just like we did on your profile page yesterday, right? You can edit it, you can add the links, you're going to move the copy, the pictures, and you're going to build page 1 and page number 2, and that's it. That's the assignment for today. We're not worrying about emails, not worrying about delivery, all that kind of stuff's happening on Friday. Today, it's just I want page 1, page 2, and then go post that in the members area so we can all see it and celebrate, okay? The one thing I noticed yesterday that I would say, well, probably 67% of you guys, you create the funnel and you copy it in the Facebook group and nobody else could see it because you didn't set the funnel to public, okay? One of the big requests we have from people in ClickFunnels 1.0 is that they would create a funnel and they didn't want everyone to see it yet. And so we made it where by default, your funnel is private. So nobody sees it until you make it public. So after you design it, look for the button that says make it public and then take that link, post it in the Facebook group, and everybody will be able to see it, which will be amazing. So we want to see the work you guys create. And again, this is just a test. It's just for fun. This is just you putting something out there just to see if you can do it, right? And the next one you're going to create is going to be better. And you're going to create a good lead magnet and get better and better. Right now, we're just trying to get you to do the process to learn how it works, okay? Okay. So the one pager, if you guys want to write it down, the one pager, you go to yourfirstfunnelchallenge.com/day2 is where the one pager is. Those of you guys who don't have a ClickFunnels account yet, you still have time to upgrade to VIP. Again, the VIP link is yourfirstfunnelchallenge.com/VIP. And I saw probably a dozen people in the Facebook group yesterday, like, I went to that page, but I was already VIP. I'm like, yeah, that's the page to upgrade to VIP. So I added the login page. So if you can't figure out how to log in, I was blown away how many people couldn't figure out how to log in ClickFunnels 2.0. So if you just go to myclickfunnels.com, that takes you to the login page, and then you can log in. If you already have a ClickFunnels account, you can log in from there. Okay. And yes, we do use software where you put in your email address and it emails you the link. So then you can go log in. I know some of you guys haven't used software like that in the past, but it's essential because eventually you're going to have you and your team and other teams. And like the only way to manage the login so that people aren't breaking into your account and make sure they're secure is doing the logins this way. Okay. I know it's a little bit different for you guys. This is the future where all software will be in 3 or 4 years from now. This is how you have to log into everything. So it's times are getting used to right now. I know it's a little different. Someone I saw was like, I will never log into software that I have to do this. I'm like, you're in for some trouble. That's like someone saying, I will only listen to 8 tracks. Like, okay, but like they're going to be gone soon. Like this is how there's so much fraud happening there. This is how we protect you and your customers, your support staff, everyone else. That way there's nobody coming in and doing unethical things in your account. So yeah, you go to myclickfunnels.com, you request the link, it logs it to you into your email, use that to log in. And that way you get access to the software, okay? You can also, after you do that, get inside, you can reset your password and stuff like that. It's all there, but just understand there's a method to the madness. We're not doing this to be mean. We're doing it because this is the future. It's how we protect you and your data and your information from everybody else, okay? So again, day number 2, there's your one pager, VIP access, you upgrade there, and there's the ClickFunnels login. Okay. All right. Now you guys ready to meet our guest speakers for today? These are people who they're literally started this game where you guys were at, right? A lot of you guys, this is your first time learning this, or you tried in the past and you felt like they've had a chance to go through this process. And I've seen them as they built huge companies. They figured out exactly who their dream customers are. They found tons of those people. They've brought them into their world, and then they serve them at a super high level. And so they are someone who is, they're 5 years, 10 years down the lane, and they came back here. And again, on their own dime, came here to like share this information with you guys, to show you what they did, how they did it, so you guys can see the process and the path. Because my biggest goal, if I can help you guys believe this is real, you're going to be successful, right? I always tell people my job at ClickFunnels is like the head cheerleader, because I know what you can do. I know that you've been called to serve a group of people. I know that if I can give you the tools and the information, understanding that you can get those people, you can help change their lives. Right. So I'm just like, how do I get everyone to believe? And so I asked these guys if they would come and be willing to speak and tell their stories. And luckily for me and for you, they said yes. And so I'm excited. So the first guest speaker I'm going to introduce you to is someone who I have watched the impact she's had. I've seen her change people's lives from all around the world. Her name is Annie Grace. She's been in our ClickFunnels community for the last few years now, and she's helped people overcome alcohol addiction. And she's going to tell you her story and why she decided to pick this market, why she loves this customer, how she serves them, and kind of her experiences with everything here inside the funnel world. So with that said, let's put our hands together for Annie Grace.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here. I literally was sitting where you are. And so before we get there, though, I want to take you way back. And I want to take you back to this tiny little log cabin. It is one room. It's about a quarter of the size of the room we're in now. You can think like 2 bathrooms put together. No running water, no electricity. We actually had to walk about 45 feet to an outhouse to use the bathroom. And this is where my hippie parents decided to raise me. And so this is where I grew up. We actually had a snowmobile there in the winter and walk about 200 yards out into those woods there to get water because there was a spring, and haul it back. And so I had a very, very non-traditional upbringing. And I tell you that because it's relevant, because the reality is, this is a close-up of the cabin. The reality is that my parents were hippies with a capital H, like all the way. Like you can't even imagine. And way before it was kind of in vogue, before there was Whole Foods, all that sort of stuff. And so they were so pure. They did not drink, and they didn't drink alcohol. And why is that relevant? It's relevant because a lot of times people come into stories of drinking too much or addiction because it's so prevalent in their families. And I came into it quite from the opposite. Like it was because I never even had a cautionary tale. And I tell that because there's so much misinformation about how we can get stuck. Only certain types of people, or only, quote, alcoholics. And it's all BS, to be honest with you. My story started here, but then it pretty quickly ended up here. I moved to New York City just after I was married, and I didn't drink a lot because I just wasn't raised that way. And I remember the day that I had my first job. I was working at Chase Bank, and I was a, product manager, and they said, Annie, let's go out to happy hour. I was like, great. Okay. I didn't know what to order, but I'd watched a few episodes of Sex and the City. So circa 2005, I ordered a Cosmopolitan. I got a lot of weird looks because that wasn't actually what people were drinking in New York City. And I remember getting the bill, and it was $25. And I was like, okay, well, I've got student loans, no way. And I just went home, and I didn't go out anymore. A few months later, my boss came up to me and he said, Annie, like, why aren't you joining us at happy hour? And I was like, well, I don't really drink. And he's like, yeah. Happy hour is like the golf course. It's where the deals are done. This is important to your career. So I didn't care about alcohol. I didn't even honestly know it was addictive. I certainly didn't know anything negative about it, but I knew I wanted to be successful. I knew I wanted to excel at this new career. So I said, great. So I actually had a process and a method. I'd go out and I drink a glass of wine, and then I drink a pint of water, because I thought, okay, if I can I knew I didn't want to be, out of control. This was all about furthering my career. And I literally had a method for this: a glass of wine, a pint of water. And eventually, if I got too tipsy, I would go into the bathroom and throw up that last glass of wine just to keep drinking more. And the reality was, what was drinking at work, suddenly I'd come home and it'd be like, oh, there's my running shoes. And there's the little bodega down the street where I could just buy a bottle of wine. And that's easier. That's an easier way to relieve stress. And I can't tell you when or how it happened. And I share this story with you because I just want you to know how non-traditional it is. But ultimately, I found myself drinking almost 2 bottles of wine every single night. And I want to show you that, like, this is what addiction looks like from the outside. You know, there's a smile on my face. I look pretty tired, but seem okay, seem like things are put together. This was lunch in London with my 2 kids after I didn't eat anything but drank 3 glasses of wine. And I want to tell you a little bit about what addiction feels like, because you basically have 2 choices, and they're both awful. You feel like whatever it is, whether it's alcohol or whatever it might be, that it's your best friend. It's the only thing. I felt like it was the duct tape holding my whole life together. I all of a sudden couldn't imagine relaxing without it. I couldn't imagine fun without it. I couldn't imagine friendships or going out without it. It had become so central to everything in my life. And so this choice, as it started to have implications, as I started to do things like not remember where I was the night before, or wake up and not being able to piece things together and just wondering what I might have done or what I might have said, I was feeling like, okay, that's not a good option anymore. But then I try not to drink. And that was also terrible. I felt stuck. I felt more fixated on a drink when I wasn't drinking it. And I was told, all right, well, you know, maybe you need to go to AA or something. And I actually had a friend and she was in AA, and I asked her about it, and she goes, Annie, you're not an alcoholic. I was born this way. And I was like, okay, well, if that's not for me, then I guess permission. I guess I'll just keep drinking. But like most people do when they're in this situation, is I started asking myself this question. I started asking myself, like, do I have a problem? Am I an alcoholic? I started asking myself over and over and over, and your brain will always give you an answer when you ask the wrong question. And I was just asking, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I remember a moment when my 4-year-old, who's now 13, came over and he wanted to get on my lap, or I asked him, come sit on my lap, Turner. And he came over and he was crawling up, and then he got right back down and he looked at me and he goes, Mom, no, you smell bad and your teeth are purple. And so while I didn't have this massive rock bottom, I had all those little moments, and I felt so stuck, and I felt in so much pain. And I just kept asking, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? And the reality is, when you have the wrong question, you're always going to get the wrong answers. And maybe today, some of you even here are asking the wrong question. Maybe you're even asking, like, you know, why can't I make this work? You're going to get answers to that. And when we ask the better question, we get better answers. And I needed a new question. And nothing changed until I decided to ask a new question and get new answers. In fact, almost all the success stories you might hear are because somebody decided to ask a new question, an empowering question. And so be careful of your questions, because your questions really can predict your destiny. And so I decided to ask, why? Why is it that I used to be able to take it or leave it? Why is it that I lived 24 years of my life barely drinking anything? And now I'm so stuck, I can't even go a day without a drink. Why? And I did something really radical, very contrary to the, quote, sobriety recovery community. But I'd been trying to stop drinking and been on this cycle for years and years, making rules, breaking the rules. I'm not going to drink until Thursday. And then it would be, Tuesday. Oh, well, that's out the window. Or I'm only going to have 2 glasses of wine, waking up the next morning. Couldn't even count. And I did something radical. I stopped trying to stop drinking. And I focused on why. And I spent about 13 months while I was working just trying to understand why. I made a list of all the reasons I drank, and every single one, and I asked my friends all the reasons they drank, and every single one I'd go. And the beautiful thing about the day and age we live in, like, you can just go find a study. You can find a study for that. And all of a sudden I'd be like, wow, actually, it's not me. Like, I'm not broken. Actually, my brain is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And it was amazing. And about a year after I started this journey, and by the way, the whole time I was number one, giving myself grace and compassion. Number one, realizing I was doing the best I could with the tools I have. And number two, answering that question. And those two things went hand in hand. I walked out of my office and I told my husband, like, I don't think I'm gonna ever drink again. If you wanna get drunk with me, like, tonight's the night, because after this, we're done. So we got drunk, and then I just woke up and I knew I was done. But it wasn't from a have to, it was from a get to. I don't have, like, it's not that I can't drink anymore, it was that I didn't want it anymore. And so I had all of these journals and all of this research, and it was amazing, and I put it out on the internet. And I remember putting this really dirty PDF out on the internet. I just put it in some Facebook groups. 20,000 people downloaded it in 2 weeks. And it was amazing. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then somebody wrote me, and they're like, you should make this a book. And I was like, I don't know how. And they're like, you can self-publish. I was like, okay, how do I do that? And then he put me in touch with Amazon. I self-published as a book. It was absolutely amazing. And everything was amazing. I had instant success. It totally worked because it was working, and I was getting success letters from all around the world. Nope. And that's when reality hit. Like, the people who were reading my work were finding freedom. And finding freedom, not just like a little more than things like AA, like a lot more. You know, now we have PhD research studies. 90% of people who go through my method cut back or stop drinking altogether. 54% stop drinking altogether. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter because reality hit, and all of this had been a passion project, but I couldn't get anybody to listen. And all of a sudden, my option was to keep in this really boozy job, and I wasn't drinking anymore, and move to London or not. And so I lost my job. And I had to do this. And I tried everything. I mean, I read all the things. I did all, I signed up for, all the people who were in vogue at that time. You know, I'm not going to name names, but I tried, and I grinded, and I couldn't make it work. And the reality is, it does not matter if you have the cure to cancer or to alcohol addiction if you don't know how to reach the people who need it. Amen. And it was so painful for me. And so I will show you the true secret to my success. He did not pay me to say this, but this is it. It is this man right here. And I can't talk about Russell without getting emotional, because he has given me, through what he's teaching all of you, the vehicle through funnels to be able to reach the people that need to hear my voice. And since I met Russell, there's been some pretty cool things that have happened. I was in People magazine. I was in Forbes magazine. I was on Good Morning America. I sold 1 million books, which is insane as a self-published author. I was mentioned in Fast Company along with Malcolm Gladwell, Annie Grace, Oprah Winfrey, and Richard Branson, which I pretty much died right then, and I'm just a ghost now, so that was fun. I have been featured in every single one of these publications, which I can't even begin to understand. My podcast has 17 million unique downloads, and it's in 162 countries. I've created an app that is a free 30-day alcohol experiment, and it has over 500,000 people have gone through it. And all the 2 comma clubs. I did all the 2 comma clubs, did a few comma clubs and then a comma club X. And it was all on a webinar and a challenge funnel, all of it. Been on all sorts of TV. And I have so much to thank Russell, Colette, and the entire team, because it doesn't matter if you have the thing, if you can't get it to the people who need it. And this picture right here, this is my son, the one who was 4 and didn't want to sit on my lap. This is him when we flew to Chicago, and I took him with me, and we had not 1, but 2 live TV appearances, one at NBC and one at ABC. And we drove around and we got ice cream, and I changed dresses in the dressing room of a store, and, couldn't be on TV with the same dress twice, very important things. And he got to come right up front in front of the live studio audience and just stand there and watch me give this message. And this is what's possible when you can take your mess and you can turn it around. When you can take your mess and you can say, hey, you know, this thing that hurt me so bad, this place where I was so stuck, that's all just part of the whole thing. But you have to have the right tools. And I promise you, these are the right tools. These are the right tools. So how it happened for me, it was Black Friday 2016. Like most of the stories you've heard, I saw a Facebook ad for Russell Brunson. It was for Funnel Hacking Live. I went to Funnel Hacking Live in 2017, and I went all in. I was very pregnant, and we drove from Denver to Dallas because we couldn't afford airline tickets, and sat in the very back row in the audience. And 1 hour into Russell being on stage, I just knew he was the one. I knew he was always going to be going further. I knew he was always going to be learning and doing and testing. And his passion for figuring this out was endless, bottomless, the amount of energy that he had. He wasn't like a one-hit wonder trying to get rich quick and trying to like put something out. He cared about the people he was serving. You could feel it energetically in that room. And so I went all in. I fudged a lot of things to get into the inner circle, but I basically... Don't tell Russell. I did what Russell says, and that's all I did. And I put my head down, and I canceled all those other little subscriptions to this guru or that guru, and I just did what Russell says. And, you know, Russell even has events for the kids, the entrepreneurs of tomorrow, which just shows where his heart is. He spends so much money putting on these events for our kids, He doesn't get paid to do that. Kids are not buying tickets. We are not buying tickets to these events. He does this because he cares so, so much. But I do have one complaint, all right? Here's my one complaint. I love Russell, and I owe everything to funnels, but something really pisses me off about funnels, all right? Like, it makes me so mad because I remember learning some of the formulas you guys are learning some of this math and being like, but wait, if like 10,000 people come to my website, then only 20% of them opt in? Like, so you're telling me that 8,000 people who need my help are not going to opt in? How does that work? And I could see that even if it was 10,000 people coming to the website and 8,000 people opting in, or I mean, 2,000 people opting in, and then, you know, these people get on my email list and they go through my challenge, and it was shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. And I was so energetically like disturbed by this because I was like, oh, like, why can't we help all the people? Come on, Russell, like, let's do something to help all the people. But the reality was, I did something in 2018, and I launched this Naked Mind Institute. And it was to train coaches. I actually was asked by a psychologist in London of the NHS. He said, I want to use your method in my practice. And I said, oh, well, cool. And he said, do you have a certification? And I was like, well, no. Do you want to help me build one? And he said, yes. And that was amazing. And so we spent like 3 years building the certification. And I trained coaches to become certified in this Naked Mind. And I walked on stage and I looked at their faces and I had this pit in my stomach. And it was the same feeling I've had since I learned about funnels, because I knew that of the 60 people in the room for the first class, look to your left and your right, and not everybody was going to be a successful coach. Like, some would do the work, some would push through the hard times, some would make it happen, some would dig deep and find the strength. And by definition, like, a funnel can't help everyone. And it's been really, really painful for me. And so I went and I dropped my team off at the airport, and I was driving home, and I was just feeling sad about this again. And it was something that I could not overcome. And I called my husband, and I was in tears, and he's very wise. And he reminded me, he goes, Annie, well, that's just kind of how the world works. Like, we have pine trees outside of our window, and those pine trees have thousands of pine cones, and not everyone becomes the tree. He's like, even the baby lottery, like, how many millions of contributions from parents don't become babies? And he reminded me of even how it's written in the Bible, right? There's a parable of the sower, and it says you scatter the seed and the birds will eat it up, some of it. Some of it will just be eaten by the birds. And some of the seed will fall in rocky places and it won't grow. And some of the seed is going to fall among thorns. And only some will fall on good soil. Only some will take root. But of that seed that takes root, that falls on good soil, it will multiply 10, 60, 100, 1,000 times. And the reality is, it's not a funnel, you guys. It's an hourglass. And each one of you that are here, you're already through the hourglass. You're already through the hourglass. It is us that can take and then spread each of our messages. And I realized that some of the people I trained would go on to touch more people than even I've been able to. And that's how the whole thing catapults forward. So I made Russell a new logo. And I really hope he adopts it. But I want you to see, that we are that few. You are here because you've made it through the funnel. You are here because you have a calling and a mission. Yeah, you, for real you. And you can do it now. You can take your mission. You can grow it. You can multiply. You can find the people you're supposed to serve, because it doesn't end at the funnel. It keeps going. You're in this room. You've been given this opportunity for a reason, and you've made it through the funnel. So I just encourage you to really take the torch. Do everything that Russell says, because it's your turn.
Amen.
Oh man. So that makes all this worth it for me. Man, thank you, Annie, for all that. And I hope you guys are starting to feel this. All the things we're doing is because you guys are the group I've been called to serve, and we're trying to bring you here and help you and serve you whatever way we can. And hopefully hearing Annie's story will help give you guys belief in your mission, your message, right? She said a phrase there, said your mess becomes your message. Like, how many of you guys are like, well, who am I to do this? Like, am I worthy? Am I ready? Like, I don't have a product. I don't have an idea. I don't have these things, right? What's interesting is that they say that God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called, right? My belief is all of you guys who are here today, the reason why you're here is you heard something, you felt something, right? There's a reason why you showed up for day number 1. There's a reason why you got, into the software. There's a reason why you showed up for day number 2, right? Not everyone did. People are falling out every single step along the way, right? From the I don't even know how many billions of people saw ads for this, to the couple 100,000 that registered, to the 8,000 showed up live yesterday, to and every single step of this funnel. Like, you guys are here, it means you made it through all of that noise, all that mess. Now it's coming and saying, okay, like, this is here for you. The reason why you're here is because you felt something, right? And that feeling, I believe, again, I've told people before, it's a calling from God. It's calling you, letting you, like, there's a group of people you've been called to serve, right? Now there's all this tactics and mechanics and strategy, how to get those people, how to serve them. But all said and done, all businesses is that, right? You have a unique skill set from the things you went through. Like, all the trials that Annie had to go through her life that were hard, that were painful, that were probably hard for her to share with other people, right? It's not something you want to share. Not something you want to talk about, but you're struggling with those things. But like, the reason why she had to go through those things is because she was called to help others who were like her. One of the questions someone asked me yesterday on the VIP session, they said, well, how do I know who my dream customers? I don't even know. I said, for most of you, it's going to be you 5 years ago, right? It's something you went through, some struggle, some problem, something you overcame. And the reason why you overcame that is because you now have the tools, you now have the gift, you now have the ability to go help other people out of that same pain, right? And that's why you've been called. That's why you're here. That's why you're trying to figure these things out. And so anyway, thank you, Annie, for sharing that. All right, the next guest speaker that we have for today, the next guest speaker we have today is someone who I'm really excited. In fact, I met this person initially at Funnel Hacking Live 2 minutes before they went on stage, but I had been watching prior. And the reason why is that when ClickFunnels first launched 8 years ago, I think he was account like 100 and something, like one of the very first members to come in. And I remember getting an email from my support team a little while later, and they said, hey, I got this message from a guy, check it out. And I remember reading it, and he was talking about what he did, and he's like, ClickFunnels is amazing. He's like, we figured it out. We're having done success with it. And so I'm like, honestly, what's funnels like? What's he actually doing? So what is his funnels? I started watching him. And the first thing is you will feel after you have a chance to meet him, he was intense, very intense. His funnels were intense, and it sucked me in. I was like, whoa, what just happened? And then I put my email address in, and I became a lead. And then I watched the next thing and the next thing. And I got put into this sequence from him that connected with me, that his message resonated with me. And I started watching what he was doing, not just to me as an active participant in his funnel, but I was watching the people he was called to serve and what he was going through. And it's been fascinating. We had such a fun friendship and partnership over the last 7 or 8 years. He's come and spoken at every single Funnel Hacking Live to share his message. And I've seen his evolution of him as a person, as him, the tribe, the people that he's been called to serve. I've seen the successors. I've spoken at his events. I've seen how what he has done, the calling that he's tried to step into, how it's changed the lives of millions of families around the world, directly and indirectly, and someone who I just have a lot of respect for. And so when I asked him, like, we wouldn't fly to Boise, Idaho, and speak for 20 minutes, and he's like, yes. I was like, dude, that is so cool that he's here, because I know, and he knows that what he's going to be able to give you guys will help you guys on this journey, because each one of you guys have something that if you just unlock that and you believe in yourself enough to take these steps, you can literally change life, not just for yourself and for your family, but for the people you've been called to serve. So with that said, let's all put our hands together for our next speaker, Garrett J. White. Come on stage. So much.
All right, so my wife in 2007, we were in bed, and she leaned over to me with tears pouring down her cheeks, and she said, "I didn't sign up for this, like at all. The man you are, the way you show up, the way you lead this family, it's all nonsense. I'm done with how you show up as a man." Right now, there are tens of thousands of realtors and mortgage brokers about to go into the pit, the same pit I went into in 2008. The business I built, destroyed and burned to the ground, not because of the industry, but because of my inability as a trainer, as a man, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, to lead my people in a place of time of panic to a new promised land. I couldn't do it. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know how to be a husband. I didn't know how to be a father. I didn't know how to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know how to do all these things well, any one of them, let alone do all of them at the exact same time. So my wife is pleading to me to rise as a man. Just be the man. It's the simple request. I'm just asking you to be the man. Lead. I don't know how. Money's gone. Didn't come from it. Had never made it until that 7-year run. I wasn't as good as I thought I was. I was just riding an industry. Like tens of thousands of individuals, likely even sitting here in this, hundreds of you affected by what's happening with rising inflation, interest rates, stock market implosion. But let's not begin to even have a conversation about the real epidemic that's happening everywhere. Divorce rates skyrocketing, addiction skyrocketing, suicide rates skyrocketing, exodus from religion, exodus from God, no trust in politics. Humanity is struggling at a level it has never seen before. We have access to more than we've ever had access to, and yet we are more lost, more alone, more hollow, and more broken. And I was broken as a man. And so I started searching. How do you be a man? My father never showed up. Never showed up. My dad never showed up. I had no examples in my life of what a man was supposed to be. My mother was the closest thing to what a man was. And so I followed that example, and it only got me so far, because no matter how much women try to lead their children on what it is to be a man, they are not men, and they will never be able to do this. And so I considered in this moment, this place of pain, that there was something that needed to change at a massive level. But things weren't worse enough, and so I continued down a path with addiction, cheating on my wife, and finding myself in the darkest hole I had ever conceived possible as a human being. It's one thing to have never had anything. It's another thing to build something, lose it, and find yourself now with the awareness that you had something and now you have nothing. So I struggled, like many of you here on this training today. You didn't come here to learn funnels. You came here to wake up. And the man who has the gift to give you access to that is Russell Brunson. So you can get confused about technology. You can get concerned about marketing and sales and all of the things that are required, but all of it is irrelevant if you don't learn to take a knee to the calling that is in you and why you're here. I couldn't see it at the time. It was impossible to see. How could a broken man like me, a cheating, addicted loser, how could this man possibly be called to do anything great? And in that place, a simple voice spoke into my world, a voice that many of you were hearing here in this training this week. You've had moments in between, moments after trainings. Many of you, this is going to be your moment because I'm a nuclear bomb and I'm going to shatter your frame inside of this the next 15 minutes to consider the possibility you are spiritually called into this experience. You're not here to be about funnels. Funnels are a mechanism to liberate the calling. And so I sat in a dark place. Russell wasn't speaking this back then. In 2010, I had a mentor showed up in my world that said I could share this painful problem that I was facing. And I could solve this problem for other people if I could solve it for myself. And so God started moving into my world. And he started showing me some things. And the first thing that he showed me was this, was that I was going to be required to wake up. No matter who you are, there's a calling inside of you to wake up. This challenge this week is a wake-up call. A wake-up call what? A wake-up call to the calling. Many of you are sitting here like, what do you mean wake up to the calling, Garrett? What do you mean wake up to the calling? Russell's called. That's why you're here. Russell's anointed. That's why you're here. I'm called. That's why my movement works. Because that man in pain rose over a decade and a half to a place of power, now leading 55,000 men just like me to learn how to have it all. How do you be a man fit and on fire physically? How do you stand in power and being in relationship with God? How do I stand as a powerful man in relationship with my wife sexually, intimately, emotionally, in conversation? How do I lead my 5 children with a man as authority, speaking over and into their lives? And how do I make money, big amounts of money? And how do I do it all at the same time? See, in your pit, God's asking you questions. The problem is you're not listening. You're not listening to the questions that are coming in the pit. You're so worried about getting the buttons right that you miss the one thing that would give you the courage to do what was required for as long as it's required to make the funnels work. The funnels will not save you. Salvation is not what's offered in this place. But the keys to liberation are available to you if you'll choose them. And so some of you are all mentally up in here, no different than I was. Only it's hard to imagine the software now is easier than it's ever been. The problem is you're dumb. It's not dumb in the sense that you're ignorantly stupid and we don't love you. You're dumb. No different than I was. What kind of an idiot cheats on his wife, walks out on his family, and makes the stupid decisions that I was making? I'll tell you what kind. A man who's asleep. And so I killed that guy. I rebirthed over and over and over again. This game of waking up is not only about accepting a calling, it's about understanding that there is a series of problems. Problems that you have faced that you are uniquely being asked to create solutions to. For when I Googled, then there was no answer for me outside of weak, watered-down, sedated Bible study groups at churches and weak, business-focused only, lying, hypocritical business masterminds. There was nowhere I could go as a man to see the path and the plan. So 2 weeks from now, when thousands of men gather again for Warrior Convention to learn this science, and tens of thousands of men operate in a game inside the apps we have created, read the books that we had in conversation, all of this occurred with a wake-up call. Nobody was talking to me like this. I don't care about anyone else on this thing but you. Come in close to my face. Zoom it in. Zoom right in. Look at me. Look at me. Forget all the notes you've taken. Forget all the stress about the software. Forget about all the unworthiness and all the idea that you can't do this. And look at me with one simple truth with yourself. Are you ready to wake up? That's it. See, Russell woke me up. He woke my wife up. See, I'd gotten to a place of being able to solve this problem But I faced a bigger problem, which was my ability to get it out to other people. I couldn't get it out to the guys. I knew what it was to be that guy. And everyone around you looks at you like you got to figure it out, and it's gotten worse now. Empowerment for women everywhere we turn. Men being told they're toxic and ridiculous over and over at every turn. Don't be a man, be more like a woman. And over comes a narrative. And I was stuck in this place searching, and I knew the pain. But see, you got to map that pain before you can create the second stage. Second stage God led me to was not only the wake up to the problem and the calling, was I was going to have to take a knee. I was going to have to take a knee. Take a knee to being willing to create a solution. See, what do you do when there's no solution around you? Many of you are facing problems and challenges that are unique to who you are. Your past, your trauma, the pain I went through for 3 years as my uncle raped me over and over and over again between 5 and 8. Nobody talks about this for men. So I'm trying to find the path, but there is none because I was called to build it. Many of you have been called to build it. The funnel is the mechanism to get it out there, but the psychology and the community of this place will give you the courage to keep going. It's not a snap of a button. It's not a push of a button. You're not just going to swipe right and it's going to work because you're dumb. And your prospects are dumb, and they need you to become smart. And then you got to meet them at dumb and help them wake up. But you can't help them wake up if you won't wake up. You can't help them take a knee if you won't take a knee to the solution. And so the second stage inside of taking a knee in the solution is to decide who are the people that you're going to serve. There's problems you're going to solve, but then there's just taking the knee to the people. My guys, married men with businesses. I knew the pain, this trifecta of insanity. And then the happy, clappy, plastic culture that tries to tell these men that they don't have any problems, tells them they don't have any stress. I'm like, do you know what it's like to be a man and to run a company all day long? And then come home and then have to show up for your children every night. And then be emotionally available for your wife to listen. And then to serve and lead your children while they're being taught that they're gay, bisexual, transgender, and whatever else ideology is being poured through those cell phones every single day. Then I've got to lead my teams and my customers and my clients. And where is time for me? When do I as a king get time? How am I supposed to give when I have nothing to give? How am I supposed to lead when I can't lead myself? Many of you are being asked to lead, but right now you can't lead yourself. So there is no movement. There is no opportunity for you. Not because the software is hard, not because funnels don't work, not because the curriculum that Russell has literally bled and sacrificed decades of his life to uncover in the simplest, paint by number possible solution he could have ever created. So that there's only one thing left in the way, and it's you waking up and taking a knee. You will do whatever is required to find the solution. Stage 3. Have it all. There was a quote from one of the Funnel Hacking Live events I spoke at. And I said it. It was a stream of consciousness. It wasn't planned. It just came through me. Many of you are going to experience this. Some of the greatest things Russell's ever said and that you've ever said were not things in your head. They were things that God spoke through you to other people. And they were true for you too. It was simple. The marriage that you want, the family that you want, the life that you want will be fueled by the business that you build. Many of you are sitting on the edge of a divine shattering pivot between staying in the path with what you've always done or choosing to launch into what God has called you to do next. I made that decision. And that decision has impacted millions. Off of that decision have come 9 other massive men's movements that were born from men inside my world. Millions of men a year impacted. Millions of children impacted. Millions of marriages impacted because I had the courage to stand up, to sit on the other side of a camera, much less neat like this, with much more complicated tools, with much more confusing ideology 12 to 13 years ago. I didn't have the mentors and the path and the process and the software and the tribe and the community. I was alone. But that's why I'm savage. Because I had to figure out how to do it with a dull knife. That's what's so frustrating with us at times when we see you guys quit so easy. You want to have it all? You're going to have to commit to creating a product. Some of you don't have a product because you're still trying to deal with stage 2, which is choosing to take a knee to find the solution. The product is born from the solution. The solution comes from your commitment to own the problem. Wake up and own the problem. Take a knee and find the solution. Own those 2 and then move to the have it all game. Marriage, family, life, all fueled by the business you build. But that comes from the products you create and the products you promote to the people you've been called to promote them to. This have it all game is a conversation, a commitment. This game is a commitment to I will do whatever is required for as long as it is required to accomplish this outcome. Here we are not interested in just making money. You must prosper. Most of your people will not listen to you because you do not. When I live in a $22 million home on a beach and drive $500,000 supercars, interestingly enough, people listen differently. But you have to have the courage to talk when it's just you with a cell phone. You have to have the courage to talk when everybody makes fun of you. You have to have the courage to talk when people persecute you. And you can't do that alone. It's too heavy. It's too hard. So what is the point of being here? The point is for you to be wrapped up in the love of a community, to be part of a place that gives you an opportunity to not feel alone, to realize you're not alone in this. To realize that when you're stressed, Russell's been stressed, I'm stressed, fighting for you to rise. God called us to wake you up. I didn't travel from Southern California to Boise to be here for 20 minutes to simply give you another PowerPoint presentation. Feel this fire. Today is your day. But this fire has to come from inside. The final step that we're all looking for is freedom. That's all I wanted. I wanted the freedom to create. I wanted the freedom of prosperity. I wanted the freedom as a man to have my wife look at me and say, thank you for being a man. And so for all 5 of my children and for the millions that I lead, I'm begging you to please wake up and take a knee. The path is here. It is not easy, but it is simple and you can do it. And if I can be here as nothing more than evidence that a psychopath in the darkest pit can pull it off, you can too. Most of you are smarter than me, and you haven't done as much stupid things as I have. Thank you for allowing me space into your world today. Thank you for Russell and for ClickFunnels for creating this amazing platform, this community and tribe to set you and me awake and to allow us to be alive. Thank you.
Thank you, Garrett. How are you guys all feeling now? If you don't feel like you can take over the world, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, I'm ready to go build another ClickFunnels 12.0. Let's go. I'm ready. Anyway, I've had so much fun with you guys today. I'm so grateful for Garrett and Annie both coming and sharing their stories with you guys as well. And hopefully that helps you to feel what we need you to feel. Each of you have been called to serve, and this is the time. Like, this is the place. The things we're teaching you, this is not for our own health. I don't need to be doing this. I don't need to be going through the stress and anxiety. Like, I'm here because of you guys. You are my people. You are the people I've been called to serve, and that's what this whole challenge is about. Right? Teaching you guys how to do the same thing. How do you start gathering your people? Right? My job is to gather the gatherers and give them the tools and the resources and things they need so you can gather your people, so you can change their lives. And as you do that, it'll change your life and your family's life in a way you've never experienced before. It's worth it. I promise you. If I could go back to Russell sitting in our first duplex my wife and I owned, with my DVD with 6 million per person email list. I'm setting it up, trying all the tech stuff to get it to send out emails. I'm getting yelled at on the phone, getting shut down, losing all my internet, losing everything. If I could go back to that kid right now and grab him by the face, it's like, Russell, like, it's going to be okay. Like, just keep moving forward. Like, keep doing this. Like, I promise you, there's a reason right now that you are here today. If you just keep moving forward, someday in 15, 20 years from now, Russell, you're going to be on a stage. You have a chance to be in front of 100,000 people telling them about this whole thing you're starting. And right now it doesn't make any sense. It's confusing. It's hard. It's frustrating. Like, nothing's working. I'm getting yelled at. I'm getting shut down. I'm getting all the things that happen. But man, if I could go back and say, like, dude, Russell, it's worth it. Don't stop. Keep moving forward, because someday there's going to be people that you've been called to serve who are waiting for you to keep moving, to stop stopping and keep moving forward. And that's my mission and my calling for you guys as well. With that said, you guys, so grateful for it. Was day number 2 great for y'all? You guys all enjoy it? Very cool. Okay, a couple real quick things. VIPs. We're going to be starting back here in the VIP room. Let's give us, right now it's 12:40 here. Let's go till 1:15, so like 35 minutes. We'll be back here for VIPs. If you have questions you want us to answer, please right now start posting the questions down below. That way we can get them and have them all gathered and prepared. Hopefully we have no technical issues this time. We solved that yesterday, so I'm excited to hang out with the VIPs. For everybody else, again, if you want to become a VIP, it's not too late. We'll throw the slide up again right here. You can go get VIP, yourfirstfunnelchallenge.com/VIP. Go get the VIP again. You get ClickFunnels account for free for 30 days. You get a whole box of goodies with t-shirts and books and like this whole thing we ship out to you, a whole bunch of things. Plus you have a chance to come and ask your questions. Me, Andy, Garrett will be up here on stage answering your questions for a little while. It's gonna be so much fun. And that way you have the ClickFunnels account you need for your homework assignment as well. Like I said, it costs you $0. You get a trial for 30 days. If in 30 days from now you decide you don't want it, you can cancel. But man, if any of you guys are feeling like I'm feeling, you're going to put in the work, you're going to put in the effort, you're going to create something amazing and change lives of people you've been called to serve. So the homework assignment's there, yourfirstfunnelchallenge.com/day2. When VIP session's ending, again, my team will be jumping in like yesterday. For those who are stuck or confused or whatever, we've got a whole bunch of coaches doing lives in Zoom and Facebook. You can jump in. They'll help walk you through. They'll hold your hand. They did them last yesterday and in the morning. So they'll continue to do that. So we got our team here as well to help you guys implement the homework. So if you get stuck, jump in those live trainings. Our best coaches are in there helping people get through all the process. So with that said, you guys, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you. We'll see you back here same time tomorrow, same time, same place. VIPs, we'll see you guys in about 35 minutes. Thanks, everybody.